Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, GCFR, deliver his Independence Day broadcast. There are many issues which the president raised in that broadcast. There was a review and also an expression of hope, in addition to exhorting Nigerians to confront the challenges that we face at the moment.
Of course, Kingsley, there was also an appreciation of the efforts of Nigerians, the contributions of Nigerians, the sacrifice and determination of the Nigerian armed forces and security agencies, of course, to end insurgency in Nigeria. And the president was also very, very appreciative of efforts by every Nigerian, you know, the fact that we have remained together. And you saw the last part of his speech, very passionate appeal to Nigerians, emphasizing the unity of this nation.
Certainly. I mean, when the president rounded off his broadcast with a clenched fist, emphasizing that we are all Nigerians from one womb, and that womb is the Nigerian nation, and we have to keep this nation one. And as he also said, in recalling the accomplishments that we have attained over time, particularly the national conference, which he said is the greatest centenary gift that this country could have received. And more in particular, Claire, sometimes when you are involved in an activity, you are unable to catch your breath and take stock of what you have attained or the milestones that you have recorded. But listening to Mr. President a moment or so ago, you could see how he ticked off those achievements that we have recorded and the various milestones, and that the horizon is indeed a very bright one for all of us.
And indeed, he did say, of course, towards 2015 election, that free and fair elections have come to stay in Nigeria, and there was no going back. He was very emphatic on that.
Certainly, it's no question about that. But these are issues we will be taking up in the course of our major conversation this morning on this special edition of Good Morning Nigeria. It's my pleasure again in welcoming you to this edition, which is coming to you live on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. My name is Kingsley Osadolo.
Indeed, Kingsley, one other question that we will also be asking is what lies ahead of Nigeria after 54 years of existence. We will be looking at that. We'll also have our guests join us on newspaper review, which expectedly will be a watch with perspectives, of course, from the president's speech this morning. I am Claire Adelabu Abdurazak, and once again, thank you for joining us on this very important day as we now go over to the newsroom where Lydia Sampson is all royal.
Thank you, Claire. Indeed, it's a day of celebration, and happy Independence anniversary to all our viewers. Well,
I like it.
I like yours too. Thank you. The news. President Goodluck Jonathan has again called on those taking arms against the country to lay down their arms and embrace peace. The president made a call in his nationwide broadcast to mark Nigeria's 54th independence anniversary. He called for a collective effort in the fight against extreme violence and terrorist attack as government intensifies efforts to end the menace.
This administration is committed to making Nigeria safe for all Nigerians, irrespective of our places of birth, how we worship God, and our political persuasion. To all those waging war against our country, I ask that you lay down your arms and embrace peace.
President Jonathan, while congratulating Nigerians on the occasion of the independence anniversary, reaffirmed his administration's commitment to ensure credible elections come 2015.
Moving to an election here, desperate moves to overheat the polity are becoming a regular occurrence. Our political leaders, in particular, must know that the contest for power should not translate to the destruction of the polity. The contest for the leadership of our country must yield good governance and not ungovernable spaces. The love of country should rank higher than our individual ambitions.
While highlighting various programs and policies put in place to ensure better living standard for the entire citizenry, the president assured Nigerians that his government will not relent in improving a basic infrastructure across the country. Since independence, Nigeria has been through several administrations that have attempted to re-engineer her socio-economic and political development. Abdullahi Garba Kudu in this report takes a look at the lessons and the way forward 54 years after independence.
Coincidentally, Nigeria clocked 100 years in 2014, following the amalgamation of northern and southern protectorates. Significantly, the year 2014 is also important in the history of Nigeria, as it is a period the country celebrates 54 years as independent nation. Looking back 54 years, it is on record how its past leaders, the youth and women, irrespective of religious, cultural or tribal inclination, worked and built what is presently called Nigeria. The likes of Nnamdi Azikiwe, Obafemi Awolowo, Sir Ahmadu Bello, Tafawa Balewa, and Malam Aminu Kano, just to mention but a few, tried their best in developing political landscape of Nigeria. These foundations laid by these great leaders still keep Nigeria as one single entity. That calls for celebration 54 years down the lane.
For Nigeria, the lines appear to fall in pleasant places on this anniversary. Why do I say so? Most of the challenges that initially seemed insurmountable are giving way. I must commend the effort of government to contain insurgency and curtail insecurity. We have also made stupendous strides in the area of power generation. Agriculture had witnessed unprecedented growth.
54 years in the life of a nation is a significant milestone. The nation has transformed in all spheres of development, social, economic, political, and infrastructure-wise. The nation's population has risen to more than 170 million, moved from less than 5 universities to more than 100, more than 30 million kilometers of roads, and above all, nation's economy is considered the best in Africa.
We have seen where agric is now moving to the right place, operated as business, and big funds made available for securing agri-equipment. And the processing zones are coming up to make sure that value added are put on whatever is produced. But still, we have not met the World Bank minimum requirement for funding agriculture, which is about 15 to 30%. By the time we reach that, then we can say agri has taken its position.
Politically, the nation has achieved another feat with democracy at all levels, with more than 15 years of uninterrupted democracy. While it calls for celebration, politicians offer advice on its sustenance.
We don't prepare for leadership in Nigeria. So if we start preparing and building for leadership, then when people come into that position, they've been prepared. They've got their blueprint. They've got their plan on what to do. That is what has been drawing us back. So it's time we start preparing for leadership. And part of that leadership is mentoring the younger ones. We have to start mentoring the younger ones to prepare them for leadership. If not, we're sitting on a tinderbox of the youth because of the high rate of youth unemployment, which might explode. So we have to get them engaged.
We have now reached the zenith of democracy, where democracy has come to stay, where two major political parties prevail in a multi-party system, where neither PDP nor APC will get more than 53% of the votes in the presidential election next year, where neither PDP nor APC will get 2/3 of the National Assembly, where neither APC or PDP will get 2/3 of the governors of the Federation, which is what democracy advocates. Democracy is not a revolution. It's a system whereby I have to come and ask Musa, what do you want? What do you want? So, for what do you want?
But these achievements, 54 years after independence, were not without daunting challenges in the economic sphere and security. Nigerians are, however, optimistic that they are surmountable.
I'll never stop talking about brothers who have been tagged Boko Haram. If you smile at them and celebrate with them, they will drop arms. They want to come out and celebrate Salah. Don't you agree with me? They want to come out and celebrate Salah. They made a mistake. They need us to smile at them so they can realize their mistake and come back home. That's what we should be preaching. We should not write them off. We should give them a second chance to come out and have a normal life.
By whatever yardstick, Nigeria has achieved greatness 54 years after independence. What is required, as the citizens suggest, is more patriotism and dedication to continue to build a virile nation. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Birnin Kudu, NTA News.
The Senate has congratulated President Goodluck Jonathan, the government and people of Nigeria on the occasion of the nation's 54th independence anniversary. The Deputy Senate President, Ike Ikweremadu, who was speaking at Tuesday's plenary, described as remarkable the giant strides achieved in key sectors of the economy despite the insecurity and other challenges.
And I'd like to wish all of us a happy independence celebration. We pray that our country will continue to get much better.
Nigeria is the only republic that I know of where the tendency to stay together is stronger than the tendency to stay apart. And on top of that, we have a government presided over by a president that is committed to transform the country, and he has done quite a lot.
I believe we have sustained over 16 years of democracy now, so it's a step forward. And secondly, we are more aware of our problems.
We've equally been able to solidify ourselves as a nation by having a capital city that all of us can call our own. That is Abuja. Abuja is one of the major achievements of our generation. I think more than ever before, what we need in our nation today is to be more united.
There's great hope for this country, and God has blessed this country. And we have to begin to feel better about this country, and each of us apply everything we have got towards making it move forward.
Some parts of this country are in pains, so we cannot afford to celebrate just because they cannot celebrate.
The Senate President, David Mark, has urged Nigerians to renew their allegiance to the country, keep faith with the Jonathan administration, and remain steadfast in promoting peace and unity, no matter the challenges. In a goodwill message to mark this year's independence anniversary, Senator Mark maintains that the indivisibility of Nigeria is not negotiable and assured the people that problems bedeviling the nation are surmountable. He said Nigeria might not be where the people want it to be, but appreciable progress has been made and more can be achieved. He warned the political class against making inflammatory and treasonable statements capable of destabilizing the country. The House of Representatives has passed for third reading a bill which seeks to establish the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Center. The House also adopted a motion which mandates the Ministry of Water Resources to determine the actual amount of funds required for the completion of a water treatment plant and irrigation project for Zobe Dam in Katsina State. The House of Representatives adopted this and more resolutions this Tuesday before adjourning to enable members participate in official and unofficial engagements that will mark the nation's 54th independence anniversary.
Talking about constitutional development at the national level, we should equally relate it to the state level, because if you have everything right at the national level, there's a correlation between what happens at the national and at the various state level.
From records, it is the legislature that have sustained this democracy, because even at a time when it became obvious that there were some constitutional issues, and they came up with what is called doctrine of necessity.
We'll take a break now. When we return, we have more news.
Shopee has ensured the reconstruction of the Abuja Lokoja Road and the East-West Road in Port Harcourt.
The standard gauge rail tracks from Abuja to Kaduna and Lagos to Kano indicates that our trains are coming back.
The second Niger Bridge in the southeast and the Loko Oweto Bridge in the north central are in progress, thanks to Shopee.
Shopee's mass transit program has made transportation easier for Nigerians.
Shopee has rehabilitated over 1,000 health centers across Nigeria.
Shopee has provided mama kits to pregnant women, and polio is on the verge of eradication.
Shopee has also ensured the provision of social amenities, and through its various training programs for young people, guarantees a better future.
Shopee, delivering service with integrity.
Begin your day. Good morning, Nigeria.
By all indications, the December target for the completion of the railway project on the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri corridor is feasible, as all major aspects of the rehabilitation work have been completed. Transport Minister Idris Umar, author of the project sites in the corridor, assured Nigerians that, like the Lagos-Kano axis, operations will commence on the Port Harcourt-Gombe route by December.
All the way from Bununi in Bauchi State, happened here in Plateau State, clearly showing you that the rail track is ready for utilization.
The next month again, we're taking delivery of another 6 air-conditioned coaches. We have more locomotives coming. We've ordered trains for the standard gauge for Kaduna to Abuja. In November, we're receiving 16 inspection and maintenance vehicles.
As part of the transformation agenda in the transport sector, an 11-member committee has been inaugurated by the federal government towards engendering smooth business transactions at the eastern ports of the country.
Apart from encouraging patronage of the eastern ports, which will further help decongest the ports in Lagos, this exercise is to enhance opportunities that are inherent in the linkages of these ports, the inland waterways and attendant opportunities associated with it.
Deliberate policies and incentives will be recommended to government through the ministry.
And that's the main news on Good Morning Nigeria. Is back to Claire and Kinsley for the special Independence package.
Well, thank you very much there, Lydia. You are part of the special package we're having today on Good Morning Nigeria on the occasion of Nigeria's 54th independence anniversary. Stay tuned now. After the break, we'll be coming up with business news.
Excuse me. What people are looking for in Sokoto, we are having Sokoto. Good luck are what every parent and wishes speaking. In school, in business, in life, everybody are looking for good luck. Every country are looking for good luck. In World Cup tournament, good luck. Or Louisa come back to life, good luck. The schools are now breaking all over to betterment the future of Almajiris. Good luck. Our universities are properly funded. Good luck. My dear brothers of the North, are you seeing what I am saying? Agriculture are now walk over. That 33 modern dams are ready for farmers. Good luck. Fertilizers are purchased for almost free of charge. FOC. I am talking of power supply. That power reform and make steady supply of light every daily. Let us thank God. Power good luck. Good luck continue for Nigeria. This message is brought to you courtesy Transformation Ambassadors of Nigeria. Down for one vision, Nigeria.
All right, and on business news this morning, it's Independence Day package. Nigerians are speaking on their economic expectations as, of course, the country celebrates another independence anniversary. And that's the package Shika Benaye is bringing us this morning.
Good morning, Nigeria. It's another independence anniversary, and we'll be looking at the World Bank's report on Doing Business Index 2014, which showed that Nigeria recorded significant improvements in its Doing Business Index since the last benchmarking exercise was conducted in the year 2010. In the just released World Bank report, the global lender noted that for the first time, reforms that make it easier to start a business have been undertaken in the country. According to the Doing Business study, progress is measured in 4 regulatory areas, such as starting a business, dealing with construction permits, registering property, and enforcing contracts. From 2010 till date, the study said Nigeria recorded 34 points in its Ease of Doing Business Index, of which 13 focused on starting a business, 8 on dealing with construction permits, 10 on registering property, and 3 on enforcing contracts. The report also measured the progress made by other states in Nigeria, noting that 22 of the country's 36 states have improved in at least one of the 4 regulatory areas. Cross Rivers and River states in the Niger Delta Niger State in the north central and Ogun and Ekiti states in the southwest recorded the most progress. World Bank Country Director in Nigeria, Marie-Francois Marinelli, said the 5 states stood out for introducing several high-impact reforms that narrowed the gap to best practices the most. The report, however, shows that it is still pretty difficult and expensive to register property in Nigeria. A development analyst, Dr. Emeka Okengo, however, said that challenge is surmountable. He is proposing adequate data processing at all levels of government.
Process of now registering, like you said, process of now ownership, process of now relinquishing, okay, process of now planning, process of now utilization. The moment you are able, and these are very simple things that in this day and time of ICT is not a rocket science. So it's all about, first and foremost, strengthening those institutions that can be able to give you data. Another word for process is data. The moment you have proper information, okay, about your land resources, managing it becomes a lot easier.
In the meantime, as Nigeria marks yet another independence anniversary, Nigerians have continuously expressed confidence in the project Nigeria. They recognize the fact that Nigeria's economy has fared considerably well in the past few years. They see social vices such as unemployment, corruption, bunkering, and smuggling, vandalism, and insecurity, among other challenges confronting the nation, as a collective struggle, but look up to the government to face the challenges with sincerity of purpose. Most of them believe the economy is large enough to accommodate all if properly harnessed.
An economy that is dependent on imports can never really stand the test of time. We need to get our steel rolling mill working, production of petrochemical materials and all that, and then get into reproduction and let our economy be based on production and not just on consumption or importation of finished goods.
What government has to do is to industrialize the nation. That is to say, they have to create an enabling environment for people.
I praise Nigeria so far for getting where we are, and I know that we will do better with time. I actually recommend them to look into the NYSC, because some people that were posted to their various PPA sections, they were rejected. I don't know why government parastatals should reject corpus posted to their organization. It's not nice.
If attention can be given to every sector apart from oil sector, actually there will be job opportunity and we can develop more than the state we are now.
Because agriculture is a very good source of income for every economy. So I will actually want the government to improve in it and also create more jobs for our youths.
They are hopeful that the economic gains recorded by the nation over the years will begin to trickle down significantly on the citizens. And we round it off here on Business News. I am Shikeola Ikpenaye. Do have a great celebration.
Well, thank you very much there, Shike, for the business package. Up next for us is Newspaper Review. Okay, we have, as usual, with us in the studio this morning, on the 1st of October, Mr. Bayo Atoyebi, former Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Press Council. Bayo, welcome to Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you, Kingsley. Good morning, Nigeria, and happy 54th independent anniversary.
You, of course, is dressed in the nation's colors. Very compliant.
It's easy to identify with your nation.
That's correct. We'll take the newspaper review, but very significantly, you're unlikely to find, at least the papers that we have here, stories relating to the president broadcast, which came on less than an hour ago. Apparently, there was no embargoed copy for the media before the president gave his a celebratory photograph of. There are 4 flute glasses there of champagne, obviously, toasting to Nigeria at 54, although I think I see something scribbled there, 52, but probably that's just a design. But Nigeria is 54 years today. That's the photograph on the front page of The Guardian. And the lead story of The Guardian says the Senate, that's the lead story now, just below that celebratory photograph. Senate moves to overrule JEGA over more polling units. Senate moves to overrule Jaga over more polling units. And there are two riders. And those two riders are, of course, not related to that story. The other one, of course, there are stories coming out of the Senate, and the other one from the House of Reps. The Senate confirms Anohu Amazu as PENCOM Director General, and Reps INEC's powers to deploy soldiers. That's the latest story. And of course, on the occasion of the independence anniversary, the story on the front page of the Guardian, that story says, leaders urge peace and unity as Nigeria turns 54. And there are four other promotional stories just there. Just a panel to the left-hand side of the paper. That's the first column, actually, from the left side. 3 Boko Haram members get 75 years jail term. Details on page 5. And Obasanjo returns to school, wants PhD. Let's say, I mean, he's enrolled for a Master of Arts and a PhD in Christian theology at the National Open University. Details to be found on page 7. Buhari confirms interest in presidential bid. Details on page 7. And Okonjo-Iweala, that's the finance minister, disowns $9.3 million arms funds. Find out the details on page 8. And also on the front page of the Guardian, the news notes, we'll take 2 of them. Suspected cholera kills 70 in Taraba resettlement camp. And PDP insists on full investigation of Ekiti crisis. That's the front page of the Guardian. And we'll move on now to the National Mirror. The National Mirror, of course, has stories similar to that of the Guardian in terms of the lead copy. Senate tells INEC to stop new polling units as Commission threatens to punish illegal political campaigners. The Commission, of course, is referring to INEC. And then, I will rescue Nigeria from misrule. That's according to Buhari. Details on page 51. And, of course, also above the nameplate of the National Mirror, court jails 3 Boko Haram members, 75 years. And then also on the front page there is 2016 census will end dispute over previous exercise. That's according to the National Population Commission. And then also the second lead on the front page of the National Mirror, just below the photograph there. The photograph, of course, indicates, according to the caption, the president being conferred with with an award of excellence on Christian stewardship by the primate of the Anglican Communion. That took place in Abuja yesterday. Independence, that's the kicker. Hope, optimism about Nigeria's greatness. She's blessing to African continent. That's according to the Tanzania envoy. And a strip at the bottom of the front page that says, Governor Aliyu gets PDP's endorsement to contest for Senate. Claire, let's take 2 from you and then I'll turn back
Let's
to me.
take the Daily News Watch now. And as Kingsley said, of course, you will not find the content of the president's broadcast, just, of course, hints there. And the Daily News Watch leads with Independence Anniversary, and the lead story is Mark Tambuwal, Governors canvass peace and unity, and it's riding with security beefed up in Abuja and Bauchi. Of course, there's a picture story there wishing Nigeria happy 54th anniversary. And then moving down, the story on the former President Olusegun Obasanjo returning to school, and the Daily News Watch captions its own version this way: Obasanjo registers for PhD program. And this program is in, as Kingsley earlier said, Christian theology, of course, at his alma mater, the National Open University of Nigeria. And you have a picture of the former president there. Now, Senate threatens to overrule INEC on additional polling booths. Details are on page 4. And just above the masthead, APC ticket not do or die. And that's coming from former head of state, Buhari. But I take you to the inside page on page 8, various messages coming in from across the states, state chief executives giving, of course, their own messages. And let's begin with the Speaker of the House of Representatives on page 8, and he's saying, Tambuwal urges Nigerians to promote democracy. It's on page 8, and just still on that same page, celebrate despite security challenges. Jang tells Nigerians, that's the Plateau State Governor and Chairman Nigeria Governors Forum, Jonah David Jang. Also on that page, Fashola calls for peaceful coexistence It's on page 8. And unity will see Nigeria through her challenges, coming from OG of Abia State. And Okorocha tasks Nigerians on unity, Imo State governor there. Niger speaker sues for political stability. These are all messages coming in there. And on the other side of the page, page 9, Obama congratulates Nigeria, that's United States President, pledges closer ties on good governance, combating terrorism. And coming down, Chime calls for renewed patriotism and brotherhood. Chime is governor of Enugu State. We must end impunity and corruption. Lagos APC on page 9. Nigeria destined to survive, says Ahmed, and that's Kwara State governor. Nigeria would remain one northern governors. It's also on page 9. Unfulfilled promises, challenge to governance, coming from former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. And just on the flip side, that's on the page 10, I beg your pardon, my leadership by divine will of God. This is coming from President Goodluck Jonathan. It's on page 9. Reps divided over Electoral Act amendment, empower INEC to deploy troops. These are all stories trending on the inside page of the Daily News Watch. And quickly to take a look at The Nation. The Nation is leading with a story just below a picture story there. 2015, I'm not desperate to be president, says Buhari. Ex-head of state urges supporters to avoid abuses. That's a lead story on the front page. Now, how Fayose led thugs to attack courts by CJ is also trending on the front page there on the left-hand column. And there, the picture story there is about traders hawking Independence branded items in Benin City, capital of Edo State. Kingsley will make one or two statements about this, because traders hawk Independence branded items in Benin City, capital of Edo State. And just above the masthead, court jails Boko Haram men 25 years each. Lagos judge finds 3 guilty. And Senate to reject INEC's 30,000 units. Idea good, but timing is wrong. Okay, that's the front page of The Nation. Mr. Toby, let's speak.
We'll just take care of it in the meantime.
Well, today is an auspicious day, the day in our nation that we're all reminded that 54 years ago, we started off by saying that Nigeria we hail thee, our dear native land, though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we should stand. And since then, we've been trying to build a nation, and the challenge now is to call on our patriots, our nationals, to arise as compatriots, to stand up. Yes, we have had challenges, and if we are united, those challenges are insurmountable. Yes, we have had some good tidings. If we put our noses to the grinding stone, the sky will only be our limit. Like it is said, the proverbial prophet that is not recognized at home. You remember earlier on, Kingsley read a comment from the Tanzanian ambassador that the whole continent of Africa is proud of Nigeria. There is a leadership role that is expected of us as a nation. And I think if, with the natural resources we have, with our biggest asset, that is the human resources, if we put our acts together, surmount, united and undivided to meet the challenges that we are facing, there is nothing stopping us that this nation shall surmount its challenges, rise to its potential, and create a nation that is united, peace, prosperity, with opportunities for one and all. On that note, I'd like to say happy independent anniversary to all our compatriots. Well, talking about challenges of the nation, insurgency is the biggest one. And like you heard in the reports, 3 insurgents have backed 25 years each for their role in amassing ammunition, explosives in Lagos. Originally, there were 17 of them that were actually apprehended. 2 were released for nolli prosequi, later on another 11. And at the end of it, 3 were found culpable and 1 was discharged. Related to that, in Konduga End, where the war has been thick, a computer expert for the insurgents has been captured. He, in fact, is the one who is responsible for posting all the YouTube messages and creating the myth surrounding Abubakar Shekau 1, Abubakar Shekau 2. And he is providing useful information also to our soldiers. Across the border, the mayor of Fotokol, a border town in Cameroon, has been arrested. he and 300 other insurgents have been arrested because in his residence they found armaments, arms including rocket launchers, which he was having as armory for Boko Haram. And incidentally, because he is very close to the intelligence community, he's forcefully identified a reporter who writes for the Independent Crisis Group as a member of Boko Haram, and that person was wrongly arrested. But having seen through the facade now, that gentleman has been released and he has now been taken in. And I think that is, the cookies is beginning to crumble over the Boko Haram and their sponsors. There's concern about death toll coming from cholera and measles in the internally displaced person in Taraba State. These are internally displaced persons, not from the insurgency, but from the clashes between farmers and cattle rearers. And unfortunately, the outbreak of cholera and measles is combining to wreak havoc there. And I think the attention of the Center for the Disease Control should be drawn to that, and so that so-called should be brought. Also, the Honorable Minister for Finance was at the NYSC camp at Girie, where internally displaced persons were. And the internally displaced person said, yes, we are comfortable here, but there's no comfort like returning to home. And they pleaded that they wanted to go back to their homes, particularly those of them from Goza, Michika, and Madagali, where the insurgents seems to have an upper hand. So far, that is the debate on the issues we have reviewed so far.
Daily Trust, very quickly. Daily Trust. That's the front page stories are similar to the ones that we had read earlier. So I will go to the inside pages of Daily Trust, page 3 of Daily Trust. I'll take one story from there. And it's just below the photograph on the page there. Jonathan, that's the kicker. I can't transform Nigeria overnight. That's attributed to President Goodluck Jonathan. And then also on page 7 of Daily Trust, page 7. New military weapons arrive to combat Boko Haram. That's on page 7. That's the lead story on page 7 there. New military weapons arrive to combat Boko Haram. And then we go over to page 24. Or before then, let's go to the cover page, the business cover page of Daily Trust, which is page 21 actually. Auditor General to audit Ebola and flood funds soon. Auditor General to audit Ebola and flood funds soon. And also on that page 21, NCC to compensate subscribers over poor telecoms service. And just two stories, page 24 of Daily Trust. Nigeria to have national carrier after $2 billion aviation expansion. This according to the aviation minister, Mr. Osita Chidoka, who was interviewed by Bloomberg TV in New York. And then on page 25, Oshomole signs 2015 budget. 2015 budget. The budget was submitted, if you like, to a faction of the lawmakers on the 23rd of September. And by yesterday, the 30th of September, the bill had been passed and signed into law by the governor of Edo State. Claire?
Yes, quickly now, Kingsley. I'd just like to, the story Mr. Toyibe earlier read on the cross-border arrest is actually carried on the front page of the Nigerian Pilot. We may not be able to get that on camera. I just have the copy here with me. And the caption reads, Cameroon arrests mayor, 300 insurgents, 3 members, and of course 3 members jailed 75 years. And now, according to this paper, that mayor, the mayor of Fotoko, Ramat Musa, yes, is actually, or should I say, was actually a member of the Cameroonian Cameroonian People's Democratic Movement, who had access to the country's military intelligence information. He was also said to have given a false information to the intelligence, which led to the arrest of a reporter, you know, who we hear has been released now. Okay, that story is on the front page of the Nigerian Pilot, which of course is carrying the lead story on why Nigeria at 54, why we should celebrate, and this is coming from the leaders. President holds nationwide broadcast broadcast today, and that's the Nigerian pilot. But my last paper this morning is the leadership, and again it's leading with Jonathan, Governor move against senators and reps. Details are on page 5, and zone them out of contention. Lawmakers fight back, but the picture story on the front page is that on rams on display for Salah along Kubwa Expressway in Abuja yesterday. There are other trending stories, of course, similar stories on the front page.
Well, there's no, I think we are having a special edition, as it were. We listened earlier to the broadcast by His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic. I would like to thank Mr. Bayo Atoyebi for joining us on this paper review. Claire, you were talking about rams. I have not seen any story indicating the price of rams this year. Perhaps the prices have crashed. And so that would be a very happy Salah celebration for all of us. This is Good Morning Nigeria. This is Good Morning Nigeria. We'll take a break, and when we return, we'll have a discussion of the President's broadcast about an hour ago.
On the network service of the NTA from the stable of the NTA Educational Television. This quarter, a wide variety of educational programs. Fun Bus, Tuesdays 5:30 p.m. It is fun-filled and educative for children ages 5 to 11. Walk It Out, Saturdays 9 a.m. Walk It Out is a mathematics quiz program for students of junior secondary schools. Take a Step, Tuesdays 6 p.m. with a repeat broadcast on Sunday at 10 a.m. Take a Step is a general purpose quiz program for students in senior secondary schools. Young Inventors, join the Young Inventors every Mondays at 5:30 p.m. Young Inventors encourages and celebrates creativity, ingenuity, and originality among children and young adults. It's a bouquet of active participation, learning, and being educated in an interesting way.
Good luck, Jonathan. You are good luck to Nigeria. Good luck, Jonathan. You are good luck to Nigeria. Everywhere you go, you are good luck to the people. Continue your good work. Nigeria support you.
Excuse me. What people are looking for in Sokoto, we are having Sokoto. Good luck are what every parent and wish is picking. In school, in business, in life. Everybody are look for good luck. Every country I look for good luck. In World Cup tournament, good luck. Or Louis I come back to life, good luck. The schools are now breaking all over to betterment the future of Almajiris. Good luck. Or universities are properly funded. Good luck. My damn brothers of the north. Are you see what I'm saying? Agriculture are now walk over. That 33 modern dams are ready for farmers. Good luck. Fertilizers are purchased for almost free of charge. FOC. I am talking of power supply. That power reform and make steady supply of light every daily. Let us thank Chineke God. Power good luck. Good luck continue for Nigeria.
This message is brought to you courtesy Transformation Ambassadors of Nigeria. Down for one vision, Nigeria.
Okay, thank you for staying tuned. We are having, as I said, a discussion of the President's broadcast, which was on about an hour or so ago. We're having a guest here with us in the Abuja studio and also from Lagos. But I'll first begin by introducing Alhaji Dahiru Waziri, who is joining us. Of course, he's chairman of the Transmission Company of Nigeria. Thank you very much, Alhaji Waziri, for being with us on the 1st of October, 2014.
Thank you for the privilege, and good morning, Nigeria. Happy Independence.
Okay, we also have joining us from the Lagos Network Center. From the Lagos Network Center, we'll be joined by one of our discussants in the course of the program. But we begin with Alhaji Ibrahim Dahiru Waziri right here with us in the Abuja national headquarters of the NTA. Alhaji Ibrahim, what did you expect to hear in the President's broadcast? And did you like what you heard in the broadcast about an hour ago?
Yes, indeed. I think it's on the positive a bit, is to rally the country around to not also denying the challenges we are facing, but also like, let's count our blessings. We've come a long way. There are challenges, yes, but these are challenges that we'll overcome. I think in a nutshell, putting it, that's exactly the crux of the message. And then going further to now dissect into the various areas in which we as a country have made significant progress over the years. And I think, to me, this is exactly the crux and the situation that we need to face. Let's count our blessings. When you look up at the night sky, you can see darkness or you can see the stars. The difference is that other countries see the stars and try to shoot for it. They may not get there, but they will make progress. But then the general, sometimes I would say the malice that you tend to see when you read our papers or when you hear people discuss, you would think that we are good for nothing. We are finished. Everything about us is bad. But forgetting that truly, actually, we have made significant progress and not denying the challenges also that we face.
Let's quickly look at the very first part of the president's speech, and that's on the efforts to curb insurgency. Of course, he did commend the role of the armed forces and the security agencies, so far, and pledge government's commitment. But one important thing he did say is for those insurgents with grievances, giving them the opportunity to come dialogue. Now, is this, what are your thoughts about this, again, invitation, for those of them that have genuine grievance, to dialogue?
I think it's positive. It's very positive, and I believe it's something that anybody who has grievance, not only the insurgents, that is what democracy is all about. That is what independence is all about. You have somebody to talk, somebody who is accountable to you in the person of the president, who represent our collective sovereignty. If you have grievance about Nigeria, the best thing is to talk. At the end of the day, no matter how you fight, you still have to talk. And this invitation coming from Mr. President, to me, I believe is very positive and indication that we can talk through our problems. We can sort these problems. If it is a military solution, believe me, I do not see how the insurgents can impose their will on Nigeria. But it is not a happy situation. We do not want to see this. I'm from the Northeast, and I know exactly how this thing impacted us. Every economic activity you can imagine in the Northeast has come to a standstill. The pain that our people feel is unimaginable. And these are our own blood. These are our own kith and kin. And for us, talk. Any issue that you have, talk. This is something which our leaders have been urging for a fairly long time, including the religious leaders and the traditional leaders and everybody. So really the president has heard our cries. Let's talk through these problems, and inviting them, I believe, is a positive thing that they should take up the offer, I believe.
Well, Alhaji Waziri, one other point to take a look at with regard to the president's address, the aspect that touched on terrorism, is the appeal to Nigerians to support the armed forces because of the sacrifices they are making. There seems to be perhaps a lack of sufficient appreciation that the country is virtually at war in that part, of the Nigerian nation state, and therefore, the sacrifices being made by members of the armed forces would appear not to have grabbed our national attention as to mobilize us sufficiently to come to the aid and support of members of the armed forces. Is this well in place, and how can we build on this call?
It's very true. Our armed forces, in my opinion, that is my personal opinion, they are truly overstretched and underappreciated. And how do you repay those who really put their life to defend you? If you think the armed forces are not doing a good job, try removing them for a day and see what will happen. Even as people think, because this is not an easy situation we are in. It's not like you press a button, how I wish, and everything will be okay. No, it's a protracted war. If you can cast your mind back, see in other shows, look at the Lord's Resistance Army, which is not too different from what we are experiencing. A group of people who believe in their own opinion that they represent a religious belief, taking people back to the 10 Commandments and enforcing their will. How many years have the war been going on? Coming back to our own, this is a long, protracted thing. I do not see an easy, neat and cut solution, and our military needs support. When you fight a war, if you lose the war at home from your own constituency, you have lost the war. That's how America lost Vietnam. It's not because of the military power, it's not there. But once the support of your populace, who are you fighting for, by the way? You go and put your life at risk. You are doing it for me, for you, for your people. And if you are not appreciated, look at the issue about how you treat your veterans, for example. Because the support is also not only from us, I must say. It also must even come more from the authorities, from the government who really employ these people. How you treat the veterans, the widows of these people who have lost their breadwinners, will go further a long way in terms of encouraging and assuring those who are serving that yes, they have the support. But believe me, you are at war, your citizens don't support you, you begin to wonder, what are you fighting for? I think we need to appreciate our armed forces a lot more, and they are doing a good job.
Just before we join our next guest in Lagos, which of course Kingsley will introduce in a moment.
Yes.
Maybe after the introduction, Kingsley, you wish to do that now?
Yeah, that's correct.
We'll just get back to
as we said earlier, we have another guest with us from the Lagos Network Center. He is Mr. Martins Oloja. Martins Oloja, of course, is the editor of the daily title of the Guardian newspaper. Mr. Oloja, I would like to welcome you to Good Morning Nigeria.
Good morning, Kingsley.
Let me throw at you, as it were, the first question that we gave to our guests right with us here in the Abuja studios. Namely, what did you expect to hear in the President's Independence Day broadcast? And if you heard him, did you like what you heard?
Definitely, I heard him. I listened to him, and everything was clear. Yeah, definitely. As we expected from our leader, we heard him say, yes, I see hope. He has raised hope of Nigerian, and he has also addressed some of the challenges while listing some of the achievements we should celebrate as a nation at 54. And I think I expected him to say that, and he appreciated Nigerians, our own resilience. He also appreciated the efforts of the armed forces, and of course, what we have done so far as a people. He also appealed to the insurgents to lay down their arms and appreciate the efforts of government. And of course, it is significant. I specifically expected him to talk about the elite in the country and also young people, which he didn't specifically address. But all told, what we had from our leader is satisfactory.
Ask you, Kingsley, sorry about that.
Go ahead.
Let's leave the content for a while. Look at the body language of the president from start to finish, especially towards the end. What does it tell you? What do you read?
Well, especially towards the end, they say, our fellow countrymen, brother and sister, in all our plans, our words and our actions, we must stand together in love and unity as a people under God. And we are one people from the womb of one Nigeria. We are brother and sister. We are one family. We are Nigerians. We are Nigerians. Definitely, the president has spoken to actually what we have been experiencing in recent time, because we have a very complex diversity. He has appealed to everybody, just as we are enjoying this all over the country, in the media. Most of the time, people are discussing this diversity. It has been stressed and challenged in recent times, but as a leader, he has raised our hope and aspirations as a people. Sometimes when people talk, and they compare us with some countries, small country like Nigeria that is not up to one geopolitical zone in the country, and they do not appreciate our complex diversity. And the president has spoken to that and appealed to everybody to say, oh, it's a good country, it's a great country, and we should appreciate what we have achieved in 54 years of independence.
Martins, I just want to follow up on your view with regard to what you perceive as probably two gaps in the president's address, namely that he didn't appear to have addressed the elite and then also the youth. I was wondering, Mr. President, in his address a while ago, did of course speak to the political class, and of course the political elites are also very important. In that case, he was talking about the need not to overheat the polity. He also spoke about the need also, or his commitment to the basic minimum, namely free, fair and credible elections. And then of course to the youth, he said, and that's of course to everybody, I believe, that our tomorrow, that's quotative, our tomorrow will be better than our yesterday and today. So can anyone not draw lessons from all of this, whether you belong to the elite class or to the youth?
Draw some lessons from all this one. You know, the reason I specifically talk about the elite, yes, they are, most of them are not part of the professional political class. And they are so important in whatever we want to do, in drawing up programs for development, in implementing programs of development, because I read in some journals recently about a country without the elite. The elite, the way they participate in the development effort here is somehow incredible. And the way they analyze, the way they do not even register to vote, the way they sit in the comfort of their homes, the way they even enjoy this and that without work, the way they amass wealth without work. And I think there is need to appeal to them somehow to just reassess and to reappreciate and also reappraise our paradigms shift, that the world has changed. We are facing forces of globalization, and the elite should participate in some of those things. Some of them sit in the comfort of their homes and they say that politics is dirty, PDP is not good, APC is not good, they are not part of any system. If they are not appointed, if they are not nominated, they complain a lot and will report their complaints every day. I'm a reporter, I'm a journalist, and we see this thing, and it's important we talk to the elite that they should be part and parcel of development effort in this country. If instead of staying at home, instead of criticizing, instead of looking for journalists to report them, to complain about the country, they should be part of the system. I do not see why so many members of the elite corps in Nigeria should not join some of these political parties to be part of the leadership at all levels, instead of saying, no, I'm not part of this, politics is dirty, they will not register. Now, if we did not even appreciate what INEC as a body has done, for instance, now people have voter cards that are machine readable. They have captured biometric features of voters. It is very difficult, and that is what the president himself has said, and a lot of, we in The Guardian have written editorial to appreciate this, that the country has made some progress in participatory democracy. Right now, at the moment, there is a sense in which we can say INEC is in the right direction. Election in Anambra, election in Ekiti, election in Osun State. For the first time in our history, nobody complained that somebody has run away with ballot boxes. Some people were templating anywhere. I think we have made some progress. And our elite should embrace this and should appreciate this and be part of development effort in the country.
Just before we get back to the TCN, who is already seated here, the chairman of the TCN, Alhaji Ibrahim Waziri, I'd just like to ask you one more question on the issue of security and, curbing insurgency in Nigeria. Share with us your thoughts on the president's invitation to insurgents with genuine, grievances, of course, to lay down their arms and dialogue. What are your thoughts? again, Mr. Oloja. I just want you to share with us your thoughts on the president's invitation to insurgents, particularly with genuine grievances, to lay down their arms and dialogue. What are your thoughts about that?
That is the message from our leader, and we should embrace that, because this is the time to face development efforts and not to war. It is time to jaw. If we can appreciate that expression, let us not war. Let us jaw. This is time to talk about our country. India is talking about space. Now, as an independent country, as a member of the Commonwealth, we are still talking about road construction. We are talking about filling of potholes here and there. Now we are creating more potholes in parts of the country. Instead of paying attention to some of these efforts, instead of paying attention to critical infrastructure, we are using our money to buy weapons. We are using our money to buy arms to face insurgency in the country. It is bad enough. This is time to talk. This is time to lay down these arms and think of how to launch ourselves onto the space instead of buying arms to fight ourselves and to curb insurgency here and there, instead of facing insecurity. National Assembly will be facing insecurity. They will be discussing insecurity. They will be approving money to buy arms. They will be doing this. National Security Advisor and all other security agencies, and even the intelligence and security community, every day they are thinking about how to curb insurgency in parts of the country. This is not what we should be doing. The whole world is facing how to cope with globalization, how to improve their economy, how to do this, how to do that. But we are doing a different thing. So it is high time we began to jaw instead of war.
Martin Oloja, editor, Guardian. Please stay with us right there in Lagos. We'll come back after a short break to continue with this conversation. And also Mr. Ibrahim Waziri, please. Okay, we'll take now, and we'll come back shortly.
Nigeria, we the people decree that the power of evil secrecy shall fail.
All Nigerians should understand that a divided Nigeria can only mean catastrophic consequences for the entire black race.
We all African countries count on you, and you are our beacon of hope.
That when Nigeria sneezes, all of us will catch cold.
All of us who look to Nigeria for lessons and inspiration never cease to thank God for this wonderful gift to Africa.
Nigeria enjoys the respect, the admiration, the friendship, and the hope of an entire continent.
The powerhouse of Africa.
Nigeria.
Unite and build Nigeria.
God bless Nigeria.
A message from protectors of Nigerian posterity.
There is an Ebola virus epidemic in some West African countries. The Nigerian government wants you to be aware and watch out against the spread of Ebola in your community. Help keep our country safe. Refer anybody coming into Nigeria from any other West African country to a hospital for proper medical screening. Abdominal pain, sore throat, cough, red eyes, and bleeding from the eyes, ears, and nose. Protect yourself. Wash your hands regularly with soap and sanitizer. Avoid contact with the blood, urine, feces, or saliva of animals like bats, monkeys, gorillas, chimpanzees, or infected persons. The Ebola virus is deadly. Don't catch it. Don't spread it. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information.
All right, this is Good Morning Nigeria, coming to you live on the network service of the NTA. We are discussing the President broadcast on the occasion of Nigeria's 54th independence anniversary. We have two guests, one from our Lagos Network Center, Martin Oloja, right with us here in the Abuja studios, Alhaji Dahiru Waziri. Alhaji Ibrahim Dahiru Waziri, let's look at an aspect of the president broadcast. Certainly, the president enumerated some achievements on the economic front, and also on the political on the political scene, some of which Martins himself has also described in the course of this conversation. The question to ask, almost invariably, is this: why are our people still so disbelieving to the point of just being cynical? They say nothing is happening, and yet Nigeria has conquered extreme poverty or extreme hunger 3 years ahead of the MDG deadline. We are the largest economy on the African continent. Conquering hunger also means that there's some measure of inclusion. And then look at the milestones that we're also recording in infrastructure. Why is this so?
I think we have a culture of low trust. It's a low trust environment where people inherently do not want to believe. You have to even scratch yourself to believe that you are alive. That is the extent to which this thing goes. But truly, and I mean it, anybody who is old enough in Nigeria, who knew what Nigeria of the 70s was and what we are today, if you ask yourself that quintessential question, are you better off today than we were? Don't take it as an individual. We as a nation, are we better off today than we were 30, 40 years ago? The answer must be yes, without any question. Much as probably some listeners would want to believe that it is no, the answer is yes, because I knew how it was when I was in university, how it was when I was in secondary school, when I was traveling from Yola to Zaria, for example. The kind of roads that we used to travel is not the same. The number of universities we had then is not the same. There are more secondary schools today in Abuja, for example, and we are talking of education. More secondary schools in Abuja than there were in all of northern Nigeria. Probably you can say the same thing, more schools in Lagos than probably all in Nigeria. These are all positive developments. Again, our population has exploded. Is it a bad thing? Population, people is resource. If you harness the resource, there are more graduates today in Nigeria, more people who have accomplished. In fact, there are even more people wealthier today. I used to count the number of people who had cars in all of Northeast. These are developments that we fail to notice and experience, which is happening before our very eyes. More hospitals. And a lot of progress is happening in Nigeria. Even this slide that we are looking at, because again, viewers might want me to address issue of power coming from that sector. Yes, still a long way to go, but definitely as it is today, we are generating more power than we ever did. It's not enough, I would tell you. It's far less than what we should. And we are making significant progress along that. So are we also in the area of agriculture? So are we in areas of education? A lot of things. It comes back to the issue of, you look at the night sky, you see stars or you see darkness. And we are inherently in a very low trust environment. And by the way, a little dose of skepticism is always good for development, because that way you hold your government up to a much higher standard
of accountability.
Yes, but then try to appreciate also the blessings. It's not all negative, and I believe we have made progress as a country.
Well, I mean, Claire, I think I would like Martins Oloja from the Lagos Network Center. Martins, you heard Alhaji Ibrahim Waziri respond to this question. I want to rephrase the question as follows. Is there a sense in which the Nigerian media is contributory to the sense of negativism that sometimes tends to overwhelm us by focusing on is it a half empty glass rather than a half full glass, considering the milestones that we've recorded in various sectors?
Well, you know, we thank God that you are a top journalist yourself, and you know that we normally consider unusual things. We normally consider odd things as newsworthy. Something that is unusual, something that is odd about people, places, and events. That we look for something that somebody somewhere is hiding. And we define news as something somebody somewhere is hiding, and the rest is advertising. That definitely the media all over the world, you know, you are a very top professional. That we normally feast on negative things. We normally feast on when people embrace low expectation, that we have a culture of low expectation here, and people blame people for that. For us in the media, I do not believe that it is the media that has contributed. You know where we are coming from. We have been traumatized too as a people, and we see that institutions have failed the nation in various forms, and we see this failure every day. The people that are not running the institutions well are our brothers and our sisters. And we see them and we report them. So just as Alhaji said, Alhaji captured it when he said, yes, focusing on negative things is not bad. The role of the media is actually to put our leaders, either in politics and business, on their toes so that they can work in the interest of the larger society. We have seen how we have reported corruption in the country, how we have also exposed corrupt people and inefficiency in various forms. This is not just focusing on negative things. It is to put the people on their toes so that they do not forget the interest of the larger society. You can see I am an Abuja person. You are in Abuja, where you are now. I spent more than 24 years in Abuja before returning to Lagos. I see the way our people live in Abuja, and people see them on television. I recall one time Director General of NTA, I will not mention his name, was worried about the way our people were living in Abuja because he served on a committee, and that the way we are looking at perquisites of office now, the way we have convoys of big vehicles that are not even available in most parts of the world. These are things that people use to measure expectation. So management of expectation is part of the problem now, because our people expect so much from people and people feel disappointed, and we hear them, and then the media focus on this, including areas where corruption is noticed, where inefficiency is noticed. These are the things that we see in the media. You know, media is not about praising people. It's not, journalism. It's not about praising people. It's not about focusing on achievement alone. We also focus on absence of achievement, expectations that are dashed, and where we see that accountability is not addressed, where law does not rule, where man rules. These are the areas you know, but in this place you know that so many people teach journalism. We have so many teachers of journalism, especially in the public sector. Say, oh, the journalists are not doing well. However, we recognize in the media, even now, that some of us are focusing too much on negativity and focusing too much on scenario planning instead of facing facts. We know that a section of the media can focus on something and report something and not facing facts and the truth, which is actually the cardinal point in journalism. We recognize that. However, this is not to say that all over the country that journalism is really bad. We notice that, yes, people focus on negativism. You know, we face more of that because some political leaders actually own journals, they own television stations, they own radio stations. What we see that will happen is the market will take care of journals, radio stations and television stations that are not doing well. People, the market forces will force us to do the right thing.
Thank you, Mr. Martins Oloja. I'm afraid that's much we can take from you from the Lagos Network Center. So we'll just quickly let you go. Thank you very much for coming. But back to Alhaji Ibrahim Waziri. Let's again look at another issue just before we let you go. The content of the president's broadcast. And I'd like to take you on the national, the future of the national conference. I'm sure a lot of Nigerians would have been excited or heaved a sigh of relief on hearing the president's position on that. Emphatic position.
Yeah, I was privileged to be a member of the National Conference, and I must say I'm delighted that the President has taken this conference very, very seriously, to the extent of assuring that the recommendations of the conference would be looked into. Now, they are implemented, and there is the Attorney General, I believe, is the chairman of the committee, looking at the recommendations with a view to coming up with the final report. Once this is done, I believe it will give our country a new direction. After 100 years or whatever it is, 100 plus, it's time to revisit how you move forward as a country. There are issues that have been dying for answers, that have been looking for discussions. The fact that we are able to accomplish that, to discuss, now that it's out of the way. For years, the agitation for national conference, to the extent that you might even think that this country cannot make progress without this national conference, without sitting down to talk our problems. He summoned the courage, convoked the national conference, we've discussed. I must tell you that I'll be even the first to tell you that I'm not 100% happy with our recommendations, but it's a question of majority carries the day. For instance, right now I can tell you I don't believe we are ready for having 56 states, 100 states. But that's the whole idea again about having another committee to review these recommendations and see what is practical, which way to go forward.
That's correct. And taking care of some of the inconsistencies in the recommendations.
The recommendations, you are right, there are, a lot of them are, many of them are inconsistent with others or with the existing provisions of the Constitution. So it's a good thing, and I think it will abode well for our country. Yeah.
Very well, Claire. And Alhaji Ibrahim Waziri would like to thank you for joining us on Good Morning Nigeria. We're having another guest to also discuss the President's broadcast this morning on the occasion of Nigeria's 54th independence anniversary. Alhaji Waziri, thank you once again.
Thank you for the privilege. Thank you very much.
All right, so we'll take a break now, and when we come back, we'll be on the last lap.
You are good luck to Nigeria. Good luck, Jonathan. You are good luck to Nigeria. Everywhere you go, you are good luck to the people. Continue your good work. Nigeria support you.
Excuse me. What people are looking for in Sokoto, we are having Sokoto. Good luck are what every parent and wishes pikin. In school, in business, in life, everybody are look for good luck. Every country I look for good luck. In World Cup tournament, good luck. Or Louisa come back to life, good luck. The schools are now breaking all over to betterment the future of Almajiris. Good luck. Or universities are properly funded. Good luck. My damn brothers of the north. Are you see what I'm saying? Agriculture are now walk over. And 33 modern dams are ready for farmers. Good luck. Fertilizers are purchased for almost free of charge. FOC. I am talking of power supply. That power reform and make steady supply of light every daily. Let us thank God. Power good luck. Good luck continue for Nigeria.
This message is brought to you courtesy Transformation Ambassadors of Nigeria. Done for one vision, Nigeria.
All right, we're taking on our third guest for today, of course, looking at the President's speech broadcast to the nation earlier on today at 54th Independence. And we have our third guest. He is Mr. Tonye Braid, Public Affairs Analyst. Mr. Braid, thank you for joining us. I'm sure you listened to the President's broadcast this morning. Quickly tell us, how do you gauge the sincerity of the President's broadcast?
Yeah, Mr. President spoke with a lot of passion. And you could see that he's very committed to the country. Particularly towards the end, when he had his clenched fist, it shows that he's a man who he wishes well for Nigeria. And I feel he's very sincere in what he was doing and what he was saying. Yes.
Well, Mr. Bid, one of the clinchers in the president's address was a statement to the effect that our tomorrow will be better than our yesterday and today. Are you that hopeful?
Yes, certainly.
Why?
Well, when we look at the progression that Nigeria has gone through since 1960, the 70s, and up to date, you can see that there is definitely a change. A lot of things have been happening. The middle class is expanding. A lot of jobs are being created in the private sector. And you could see that government has some policies which, if well implemented, would make very positive change to our country.
Well, the other leg of it is a question that we posed to our two earlier guests, Alhaji Waziri and Martin Soloja. Why are we such a cynical rather than an optimistic set of people?
Yeah, part of the reason is that we have not been able to imbibe a national ideology, and most of us are in a hurry. We look for what we call quick wins, you know, get-rich-quick syndromes, and at times there is always a time delay in the actualization of some of government policies, and we have what we've been calling policy somersaults. We should be able to have specific things that this country would do. Like we had a leader who said, you know, a little to the right, a little to the left, but we must have a national focus. And that had been the issue, that at times things come up and leadership change, and many things are abandoned. You have so many abandoned projects across the country. That's why at times we have this mistrust for some of government policies. But when there is stability and you allow these policies to run the test of time, you find out that it works out better for the country.
Yes, you talked about mistrust, you know, or distrust or mistrust between the leaders and the people, you know, basically because of unfulfilled promises. Now, we've listened to the president today. How can the content and the passion that the president has exhibited, the content of his broadcast, of course, the reality of what government has done, how can that be used to reverse this trend of distrust between government and, you know, the leaders and the people?
There's been a commitment on the part of government over the past 4 years to try to execute most of the things they've promised. Of course, many things would take a longer time, and in any project, like even the art of statecraftsmanship, you know, you need a gestation period which you could get things achieved. But if you look at the country today, you find out that every year things are getting better. And I think gradually people are starting to have confidence in government. Many people have been trained, capacity has been expanded. You see, once you build up capacity, the next thing is to put these people to work. We have more universities, we have more educational institutions, we have more investment coming into this country, and of course this will create jobs, and the various sectors, various growth sectors will start to expand to the good of the Nigerian people. Yes.
The president in his broadcast listed areas of success, you know, that the developments that we're having in the power sector, for instance, infrastructure, which is expanding, local content in the oil industry, which is also very important, and the fact that the economy is growing, and we have, as it were, conquered extreme hunger, the same way we did to Ebola, which came to embarrass us just a couple of months ago. What, in your opinion, are the other areas of remarkable achievement, you know, as a country?
The educational sector, the agricultural sector, they're expanding, and even the policy on the automotive policy they want to put in place, that is something that is going to make this country expand massively, because the value chain in the automotive industry is very, very extensive. You know, for many years, the second-hand market has thrived in Nigeria because of the ingenuity of the Nigerian mechanic. Most of them are people who have been using this village native intelligence to be able to put vehicles together, keep them going, and it's that kind of ingenuity that we want to move into the industrial platform. And we'll be very surprised in the next 5 or 10 years what would happen. You know, the potential is there. There's going to be a lot of growth in that sector, and it would work out better for the entire country.
Okay. Well, I mean, Claire, the other way to rephrase the question that we posed earlier is as follows. You have sometimes a very noisy minority that tells you nothing is happening, and oftentimes they make the president the object of their insults. Probably there's no president who has ruled this country that has been so insulted as the incumbent. And yet, you see all these happy signs about things going on. All of our guests said earlier, look, assuming the country were a night sky, are you seeing darkness or are you seeing the stars? How do we, as a people, begin to listen to the majority who are seeing hopeful signs rather than the very loud and noisy minority?
Well, it happens across the world. Look at even in the United States. Look at the programs that they call it Obamacare. You'll find out that this is something which was designed to help the people. But you find out that you have a lot of skeptics, and the negative people tend to make more noise than the positive people. You see, government would be able to achieve what it can achieve by the success stories. It's the end that will justify the means. So, you know, negativism is something that thrives across the world, and it's something government should be able to contend with. Most leaders, even in governance, in state governments, you have a lot of sycophancy. But as much as you have all these sycophants, you have so many people who are always very skeptical, who feel they could do it better. But it's the man on the driving seat who knows how hot that seat really is. Yes.
All right, Mr. Tony Briggs, we would just like to thank you for coming to share your thoughts with us.
Right,
obviously, matters arising from the President's broadcast this morning cannot be exhausted on this program. We have other programs both on the network service and all the other NTA channels, of course, that will be taking up these issues at the various time belts. But at this moment, we'd like to thank you once again for coming to share your thoughts with us. Yeah. You're watching Good Morning Nigeria. We'll take a quick short break, and when we come back, we'll look at we're moving on to to sports, where, of course, we, as you must know by now, the elective congress of the Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, has been concluded in Warri, Delta State, where Amaju Pinnick emerged the new president of the federation. Musba Dan Wahab has that story.
All right, welcome. Let's talk sport now. Delta State Sports Commission boss Amaju Pinnick has emerged as the new president of the Nigeria Football Federation, NFF. Pinnick defeated other candidates at the elective congress held in Warri, Delta State on Tuesday. He got 32 votes ahead of Dominic Iyofa of Benue State, who came second with 8 votes, while former Secretary General of NFA, Taiwo Ogunjobi from Osun State, got 4 votes. Amaze Uchegulam of Imo State got 4 votes in the first round of election. Mike Ume of Anambra State and Abba Yola from Kano State had no votes. The 7th candidate, Shehu Diko from Kaduna State, pulled out before the election. Sheyi Akinwumi is now the first vice president. Correspondent Amaze Marcos is on the line to tell us more about the election. Hello, Amaze.
Yeah.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
All right. Can you quickly give us some of the names of the ordinary members?
Yeah, the names of the ordinary members of the Nigeria Football Federation. We have Musa Ibrahim from Zamfara State. We have Suleiman Yahaya Pandey from Plateau State. Ahmed Yusuf Fresh from Niger State. Gundibo Hussaini from Taraba State. Kachala Baba Gana Kali from Borno State. Sherif Rabiu Inua from Kano State. Abu Felix Anyansi from Abia State. Christopher Green from River State. And Sunday Dele Ajayi from Ondo State.
All right, thank you. Was the result well accepted by all parties?
A result of this nature will definitely not be accepted by all parties. Dominic Ayofa, one of the presidential aspirants who contested, actually was not happy with the results, and he made it known in the hall.
Okay, what did he talk about? What was his own excuse for not accepting the results?
Dominic Ayofa alleged that there was some inducement by the contestants, and according to him, such inducement counted against him and others whom were not in a position to influence the voting pattern.
So definitely he's going to challenge the results, right?
Dominic Ayofa, as at Tuesday, was talking about going to the ordinary court, but it remains to be seen whether he will take it to the ordinary court or to the court of arbitration for sports.
All right, thank you. Regardless that, should we be expecting the new NFF now?
Yeah, the new NFF has already been, the new NFF executive committee has been sworn into office, and they have actually started work. I can say that because the chairman addressed a media conference yesterday and said they have actually hit the ground running.
All right, thank you very much, Mazi.
Thank you.
All right. Away from that to tennis now, Rafael Nadal enjoyed an emphatic return to singles action as he powered past Richard Gasquet at the China Open on Tuesday. Spanish world number 2 Nadal played his first singles match in 3 months after a wrist injury extended his record to 13-0 against Frenchman Gasquet with a brisk 6-4, 6-0 win.
Game, set and match, Nadal. 2 sets to love. 6-4, 6-love.
World number 1 Novak Djokovic also overcame a sluggish start to continue his perfect run in Beijing. Djokovic beat Spain's Guillermo Garcia Lopez 6-2, 6-1. And that's sports this morning. The program continues shortly.
Well, sadly, that's the end of the program for this very, very special day, the first day of October 2014, marking Nigeria's 54th anniversary, and of course the first day of the last quarter of the year. We thank you for joining us, and please do keep joining us on the network service for more programs and of course for other matters arising from the President's Independence Day broadcast. I am Claire Adelabu Abdul Razak. Have a good day.
Well, I also like to join Claire in thanking you for being with us on this special day. Actually, Claire, it's a double celebration. It's not just marking Nigeria's independence anniversary. It was also on this day in 1963 that Nigeria became a republic. And Nnamdi Azikiwe then moved on from being Governor General to becoming a ceremonial president. My name is Kingsley Osadolo. Do enjoy the rest of your Independence Day celebration. God willing, we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.